Yankee and the Canuck. Again, we're back here. I don't remember what episode we're on. I think it's like 49. It's retarded how many episodes we've done. We were supposed to bring you a special friend of ours, JC. JC is occupied at the moment. Look, it happens to everybody. It's going to happen to you someday. You're just not going to be able to make it to hang out with your friends over here on our podcast. Bad. We do have the Canuck with us, Edward, and I want to say hi to Edward.
Well, hello. Yes. Unfortunate, but you know what? He'll be back Friday, he said. So Friday it is instead of today. Yeah, like you said, life happens. Unfortunate, but there it is. By the way, I wanted to start off, if I could, with news from, I was going to a meeting Saturday, met a whole group, a whole bunch of great people, well informed people, too. I got to add, I was never happier. Well, actually, no, I do have one complaint, and that is, we're in a constitutional crisis right now, whereas we don't have one. I mean, people think we do, and we kind of do, kind of, but it can change in a moment's notice, as it has been over the last years, and no one's really noticed or even cared to even mention that. But yeah, our Constitution is not like the Americans, where it's a constitutional republic, where it just stays the same. And that is basically your culture. That is who you are. It's there forever. It represents what an American is, that Constitution itself. We don't really have that. Ours changes too much, and really the king and UK can change it, in a heartbeat overnight. So yeah, it's unfortunate, and this is the crisis we're in today. That it's changing so quick, so fast. We're losing so many rights that people don't even know how many and how fast. Bill C-2 is a good example of that. But not only that, we're not getting out of this by just voting out. It's too crooked. There's too much cheating going on. Just like the same playbook they ran in the States, they're running up here, Sean. I'm telling you, there's no difference. These commies run the same thing every single time. And all we have to do is just look to the States and learn from them. But you know what? Canadians, I think they must think that we're so much smarter than the Americans and so safe from all of them. Yeah, no, that's not right.
Well,
So,
don't you think that is part of with the British? Obviously, I saw this great shirt. I got to put this in here real quick. I don't know
what?
who made it, but this great shirt that the British lost a 13 colony lead. Whenever I find out who makes that, I'm buying it and I'm wearing it because they
Me
totally
too.
lost
Yeah,
13 colony lead.
yeah.
But don't you think
That's it.
that's always been the MO, is to keep the colonies believing they were independent, even though they were still part of the crown?
Yeah, just us. That's us right now. Yeah, and the nonsense they feed us, even in the educated school systems, so much. I don't think the teachers even know, because well, some of them are dumber than bricks. Yeah, the ones teaching us are dumber than the students even. So, oh my, don't get me going on our education system though. But yeah, that's where we're at. Let's see this shirt though. I'm curious.
I'll have to find a picture of it. I saw it on the internet. It does exist. It's a buyable product.
All
But
right.
it basically, all it says is the British lost a 13 colony lead. Talking about America, of course.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a brilliant bit.
We need that up here, but we actually need to get rid of the crown. We need to get rid of them
You
altogether and start
do.
anew. Or why, when we saw that time, just join the Americans, constitutional republic, we'll be fine. Even if they want to change it a bit, you know how all states are independent, really. Anyways, you can fly a Canadian flag as a new state or new whatever, and just hey, we're still Canadian, just under a new constitution. It's not that big of a deal. It's a better change for lower taxes, better freedoms, much more of it. And you know what? We'll have an army. We'll have a military, Sean. If we did that, we'll actually have a actual military.
Well, you'll have quicker access to actual health care.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Instead of these
Oh.
2 year lineups, where we're dead before we get, yeah, yeah. So many of us used to go to the States before they made that against the law. But yeah, that was, if it wasn't fast enough, we just went across the States, Buffalo or whatever. And there we were. I mean, great service, fast, quick, and cheap. Yeah.
All of my, and I've told this story before, but for any new listeners that haven't hung around with me and Edward for I don't know, the last 3 years that we've been doing this. I do have Canadian family, relatives, and yes, they would come in and go to Detroit for major surgeries, even minor surgeries,
Yeah,
because it wasn't worth the time to wait 2 years to get a hip,
I know.
right?
It's retarded what we got to go through here. It's just, and no, everybody keeps talking about this free health. It's not free for one thing. People are of course, libtard speak, and telling everybody it's free when it's not. But that's just liberal double speak of the actual reality is it's individually funded or individually taxpayer funded. But they don't want to tell you the root of where the money's coming from, us. But don't get me going on that in immigration today because that's our tax dollars that work again. Living in the five-star hotel motels, for free and all the stuff that goes with that, which, yeah. But anyway.
Oh, I've got something to show you on that.
All right. What is it? What do
So,
you
so the prodigal son, Hunter Biden,
got?
I don't know,
What's
like
he doing in the news today? What's he
there's like
doing?
3 hours of him. So I obviously I didn't bother wasting time to watch any of the three different things he was on, 3 1 hour shows. But there was clips all over yesterday, and I grabbed this one specific clip, and I want to get your reaction because I've gotten a reaction. Let's check
All
it
right.
out.
All
For
right.
someone, am I going to be like all these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration? Fuck you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your fucking table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your fucking garden? Who do you think is here by the fucking sheer fucking just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals?
Let me get your thoughts because I have some.
Well, illegal immigrants are not doing that for one thing. The people cleaning your hotel rooms are legal immigrants, not the illegal ones. And if there are illegal ones, call ICE right away so they can have their jobs back. The ones that lasted to these, $5 an hour immigrants who are still getting paid by the government with a free cell phone. So by all means, yeah, the illegals are still illegal. And they're not the ones doing all the work anyways. They're the ones committing most of the crime and stealing, but they're not doing the actual picking tomatoes. But go ahead. What were your thoughts?
So my first thought is people like Hunter Biden don't they have no concept of what it's like for everyday Americans who wash their own dishes,
Oh,
who mow their own lawn, who take care of all the things that this elitist prick
correct.
believes that slaves should do for him. And he views them as slaves, and
Well,
he's
I know.
saying, fuck you for taking away my slaves.
Yeah, no, that's a great take, and that's exactly how it is. And you know what? The Democrats have been wanting that, especially the California area. Remember Dianne Feinstein and who's dead now, but Pelosi and who is it? Schumer or Pencil Neck? Who lives there?
Schumer.
Schumer. Yeah, all they wanted was illegals, just to do all the free labor, supposedly free, but they didn't. Might as well be. They didn't pay them very much. So that's why that is the way it is in California. It's so messed up. But yeah, another crime-ridden area. Need to get that one red again with the Reagan days. Need to get that back to red and get rid of those clowns. Oh my gosh.
Well, and again, like with my statement, it stands, and I stand by it. These people don't realize what an American making 45 grand a year does, or maybe 90 grand a year even, still doesn't have somebody in his house washing his dishes. Even at 150 grand a year, probably still doesn't have somebody in his house washing his dishes. Now, at
Yeah,
that level, maybe they pay for landscaping, hoping that they're
well,
paying illegal or paying legals, like
hopefully,
paying a landscaping company.
yeah.
But like this guy has no idea what the majority of America do on an everyday basis. They go to work,
I
they come
know.
home, they have to mow their lawn at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. Then they go and feed the kids. Then they wash the dishes after the kids. Then they play some Nintendo with the kids. Then they put the kids to bed. and they finally get to hop on the internet and hang out with people like you and me.
And remember, there's still all the other chores to do as well. Looking after cars, trucks, laundry, you name it. There's still all that to do in your spare time. You're going to say, I know, I get that, but I don't think I'd listen or take any advice from that dumb dumb. If he ever watched a TV show in his younger days, he'd know how middle class America actually lives, and it's nothing like what he's talking about. Oh, we'll just hire slaves to do everything. We'll just sit here like a bump on a log or ride the internet all night long. I mean, he has no concept of reality. And I don't know if that's because he's in the class he is or he's just done too much coke. I'm not sure. But yeah, no to him. And I'm not taking any advice from that guy.
I think part of it was the drug fueled life, but I think what he'll never understand is he grew up in an ultra wealthy, ultra powerful family, and
Correct.
his dad was super powerful for 5 decades.
Hmm.
So the dude's never pushed a lawnmower. The
No,
dude's never washed a dish. There was always a servant of some kind
many.
taking
You're
care of
right.
all these things for him.
Yeah, true.
And he
Uh,
has no idea how the rest of us live.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that even got airtime. I'm surprised that made the rounds. I never got any of those. Well, we don't get much news stories up here, anyways. You know that we're always suppressed as far as information goes. But yeah, that's why, like I say, we always communicate because that's the only way we get any news up here is from America. Shameful, but it's true. And
Admit.
going back to our constitutional crisis we're in, we should get back onto something I think that's really going to help us a lot, and that is with Tulsi Gabbard made a statement the other day. When I say the other day, it could be a week ago now, where she says, "Let's arrest Obama." He's at the center of everything. And I actually did listen to a clip of Glenn Beck. You know the guy I'm talking about. For an hour, he went on from the beginning of how it all started to where they find themselves to the ending of it right now today. And putting this guy in jail would be, well, actually for him, instead of being hung from a tree, would be a blessing because that's exactly what high treason calls for, hanging till dead. Uh, so you know what? Just being behind bars, not a bad idea for it's a win. So, but yeah, him and the others, Brennan and who else?
Clapper,
Capper and
Comey,
Comey and yeah,
Schiff.
yeah, oh
I've,
yeah, yeah.
I've seen the evidence
Yeah,
that
and don't forget
Trump
that's
is
not,
a Russian
yeah.
asset.
Well, don't forget Hillary. She's one of the main ones too. She should be also in cuffs and leg irons, but and there's many more besides her. And that Susan Rice really gets on my nerves. Coming out with that. Although Obama had just got the reports from intelligence saying, yeah, Russia doesn't have the capabilities, and they had no such dealings with that. The next day, Susan Rice is out there with the media. Yes, Trump, had won the election because of what's his name, Putin's help. It's Russia all the way, and the collusion between the two. Yeah, everything opposite to what he had just said. And then the story, of course, got cooked up to where it is now, where although we know it's not true now, but yeah, back in those days, I couldn't believe the clown show that was going on. But yeah, time for some redemption now, and I think Trump was right with the Epstein files, releasing all the information, releasing and get that Obama guy behind bars once and for all. Oh my God, Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden for some time. Osama
Osama,
bin Laden.
that's a good one. Yeah, I saw
I
that.
just seen
Osama
that.
bin Laden.
Yeah, I seen that friend that.
Barack Hussein bin Laden.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Oh,
yeah.
so I do want to mention. So remember when they wanted to lock up Trump, and Paul and I were adamant that even a former president who's under Secret Service protection is never going to be locked up.
Well, yeah, but
Okay. That doesn't mean they can't be found guilty and put on detention and wear the ankle bracelet and have forever shame. And that I think would be perfect. I'm totally okay with not changing precedent like we didn't want to have changed under Trump. Whereas if Trump was found guilty of the Russian collusion conspiracy, which is impeachment one.
Mhm.
Adam Schiff, who can go fuck himself. I can't wait till we
I
find
tell
him
you what.
guilty of this, of conspiracy against the president. Some call it treason. I definitely can say it's conspiracy. Yeah, I would love
It's
to.
all that.
I want all, and then other than Barack Hussein, the rest of them can all go to prison.
Yeah.
Hussein's the only one who can't.
Well, remember, I
Same
don't
reason
know
we
if that's
explained with Trump.
they say that, but I don't know because treason, they don't talk. Yeah, criminal offenses is one thing, but high treason is altogether different. That is a very chargeable offense that you can die from. So, yeah, when they say, well, no, the law doesn't really apply. No, that's so untrue.
I
I
get it.
just, but
I'm just like for our podcast, I'm saying he has not been charged with treason,
oh,
but
oh,
what
yeah, yeah.
looks like accurate is criminal conspiracy,
Right. Correct. I get where you're going with that now. But
right?
remember, it was the Democrats that set that whole thing up that no
Yeah.
one's above the law. And what did Obama say in 2020? Even the president's not above the law. Well, let's see now. Now that they set this whole thing up and had, can the president be put in handcuffs and they had a mugshot of? Well, yes, they did that to him. So now what they did to Trump is exactly what's going to come back to Obama now. And I'm smiling ear to ear because it's all tied into Canada, and I want to get into that a little later on, if you will. But and I got to get back to the Epstein files too, because the whole thing is all tied together. And Obama and his party life with Big Mike, I mean Michelle. Yeah, we got to talk about that some more too. That's another thing that's funny, and no one in the media is covering this stuff, and nobody on Rumble, the X, anybody else is putting the dots together. I find that amazing. Come on, people! It's reading. Well, maybe some have mentioned about the party life of the Obamas and the P Diddy stuff and everything else, but no one's really talking about it much anymore. It seems to have dropped off for whatever reasons. I don't know, but yeah, it's still criminal. And we know about the pizza parties and the expensive $50,000 hot dog party they had at the White House and all the other stuff that people forgot about. Yeah, that's ugly stuff. Ugly.
Yeah, yeah. At the Wall Street Journal, I think Trump is suing them for $10 billion with a B
I know.
for
And good
some
for
sort of drawing with a squiggly signature that's supposed to represent a woman's nether region. Trump's gonna win that thing in a heartbeat. You know what?
you know what?
10 billion was not enough.
No.
He should
And
have went for 100 billion.
Rupert Holmes and him, Rupert Murdoch
Murdoch.
and him, yeah, have been meeting. So you know what? He's got to be nervous. Otherwise, he wouldn't be. Mum would be the word. You hear me? Because that's just correct court proceedings. You don't talk, to each other unless you're trying to make or come to some type of agreement. Maybe the guy's trying to say, I'm sorry, and it wasn't even him anyways. It's his sons that run the company now. So maybe he's just trying to, give some pitch to the president. Oh, we're sorry, and they didn't mean it. I don't know what's going on, but 10 billion, good for him.
No, it's a
He'll
good
be good.
start. That's a good start. I think he should have gone for 100 billion, and I think everyone that keeps doing this stuff to him, why not continue to sue them for being liable and prove that they are liable? They're spreading false information and propaganda, and just sue them the fuck out of business.
They needed to do that though. They were in a situation where it was they had to get Trump. He couldn't get elected, and he got elected, and then he went through that. Can I say a shitstorm? Because they actually did for the first 2 years. He was just all the rumors. I mean, they made up stuff like he was partying with strippers and peeing on him in Russia and all this other crazy. You wouldn't believe this stuff to me. It was constantly every day hitting him with something bizarre because they could not have him as president. And then when he became president, that big surprise, well, they had to stop him still by, well, of course, all the stuff they kept throwing at him and about him. But still, the people persevered. Nope, not true, not true. And sure enough, he gets elected again. Well, after they found out the cheat that was on with the Biden, well, he was just a placement anyways. It wasn't in the election. We already know was stolen. Like, let's be honest here. Same as in Canada here. People don't realize how dirty this whole election system. I've been saying that since the early 2000s when we had in Ontario here, the libtards, McGinty and that other, oh, I don't even want to say her name, win, but I have to. But, just cheated nonstop. They did not win, with the popular vote for any of the. I can't believe that these morons were allowed to ruin our province and drive it into the ground with this solar energy and stupid windmills that they break down half the time, and they're never going to be able to pay for what they're worth to make and set up. It's just impossible. The math, it's never math though. We all know that. And we were still paying off a debt retirement charge for the great big huge hydro plant we had in southern Ontario, and they just ripped it down, tore it down. Still owing money on it. Well, maybe the debt retirement charge was just another tax, and they didn't want to tell us that. Well, it's already paid for. We're just going to tax you more, because any payment you pay to the government's a tax. I don't care if it's a licensing fee or whatever they call it, it's still a tax. So we're taxed so high you would not believe it up here. So yeah, that's a whole other story. Now let's get back to what we're talking about. Sorry, I just kind of went off in the weeds there because there's so much
You're right, but now you got me on energy. Energy and taxing people so that energy here in the United States, at least, is a monopoly that's facilitated by the government.
yeah.
Right. So obviously they take away all competition. So you can have Duke, or you
I
can
don't
have
agree with that, but yeah, I
this, or
do.
you can have that energy group, and it
Mhm.
covers a vast area. I saw some stories coming out of Indiana that Duke Energy asked for a rate increase again,
Mhm.
and of course the Republican government in Indiana is like, "Fuck yeah! Wait, why do you want us to rate? First of all, fuck yeah, let's increase the rates, but why do you want it?" And they're like, "Well, we want to research uh, uh, mobile nuclear reactors, MNRs."
That's not a bad idea, but
I
okay.
didn't know, I get it, but we need to raise your rates first so we can research it. And if we never implement it, we're still not going to decrease your rates for never implementing it. We just need to raise your rates to just look into it.
Right. So if we just we sign this bill into practice, then we'll all read it later, right, Nancy? I mean, that's
Right.
exactly what you're saying.
Right.
And
We're gonna raise the rates and check it out. And if it doesn't look cool, then our bad, but the rates aren't going down.
yeah, retarded. Yeah, and you know what? I like Indiana. Has it ever been Democratic before? I don't remember ever seeing Indiana as a Democratic state. It's always been red, from what I remember.
They've had a Democrat governor, but no, it's always been red. But here's also part of the problem: because it's so red, people don't show up to vote.
Oh,
So there's like you get like the Governor Mike Huckabee was the last governor. Dude raised taxes more than any governor that we've ever had in Indiana.
mhm.
But people are like, I don't have to worry about showing up to vote because I'm sure my state's going to stay red because it's like 70%
Yeah,
voter red.
yeah.
And then, like, so they forget about the primaries. They don't show up to school boards. And the Republican state of Indiana has turned into one of the highest tax states in the country because the voters just don't show up.
And that's good. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say anything because the same thing happens in Canada here. I don't think anybody goes to a school board meeting or anything like that. Absolutely not. It's rare if they do. They just pass anything they want because no one's there to object. And as far as government goes and what we go through, municipally speaking, yeah, they think that the prime election, as far as who's prime minister, is going to do the most damage. But it all starts off at the local municipal, and then it grows from there. It just gets stupid. Once they get permission to go from county to county into provincial, then all bets are off. Because once you get past that, then the prime minister can pretty much do whatever he wants, and this is the problem. Nobody's stopping it, and we got to stop this guy because hey, we have to get back into our conversation, if I can, getting
Please
back
do.
into the charges against Obama, but the Epstein files as well. And did you know that all of this is actually related to our prime minister? Carney and his wife are best friends with Giselle Gazelle Maxwell and Epstein, Jeffrey. I keep forgetting his name, Jeffrey Epstein. So, best friends with them. No one even talks about that on X or anything. I don't even know if they're aware of that. But you connect the dots of all the different families. You get the Brofmans in there, you get everybody else. It's just one big happy family, uh, committing nothing but chaos and crimes and just sinister activity, and no one seems to be aware. But you shut them down, you get that family back into check, and I tell you, this whole country would clean up pretty damn quick. But we got to do that. But first off, we have to come together and be cognitive of the reality that voting away out of this is not going to happen. We're going to have to stand up. And as we've done before, and let our voices be heard and say, you know what, we're going to start flying American flags now, just to throw this in your face and let you know how ticked off we are. Because, I don't care if the king comes over here or not again. We're still going with Trump. We trust Trump. We don't trust that clown because he comes over here as soon as Trump, says, 51st state, the king. Oh, I'm going over there to make sure. Yep, I'm still your king. Yeah, no, you're not. You haven't paid attention to us ever. And now you don't want, America to protect us. You want us to pay you money for a military. What? You don't even have a military. I think America's military is going to be a lot more impressive than anybody. Well, you might also say Ethiopia then. Yeah, okay, fine. You dum-dums. But anyways, that's more libtard speak that we get all the time on our CBC.
England buys all their good tech from us.
Well, everything that I know. Have you not noticed? I know. Besides that, not just England, Israel, you name it, the Saudis, everybody's buying stuff from you guys. It's only China and Russia that are making their own stuff. And even that's even some of the designs I see are not that unlike, what we created a long time ago, even in Canada here, with the Uniwing for the, I even forget the name of the, I think I can remember that name. No, can't do it right.
Are you thinking about the B-2?
No, I'm talking about the
Uniwing. It looks like a big.
Well, I'm talking back in the day of the fastest interceptor we made. I can't remember the name.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
That's like back in the 50s. We were so back
yeah.
in those days. Taxpayer funded, of course, but wow, did we not go far with those German engineers we had? German engineers, Russian engineers, Canadian, of course, all working together. That was something. That was one. And that's why we scrapped it and joined the U.S. Because we aren't going anywhere with that thing. And we just made a deal. And that's how NASA started, right from there. Can't remember the name of that plane. It's just, it just kind
it eludes me. I totally know what you're talking about. It looks like there's a European model. I want to say it's French that has a similar look. But it's not the same plane. It just has that,
just the
triangle body.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's and that was with the swept wings and the notches in them for just the aerodynamics of this thing was just unbelievable. And I'm going back to the 50s, like I said. So the Avro Arrow.
That's right, the Arrow. Yeah.
So, anyways, a lot.
Whatever happened to Avro? I mean, not the Arrow, the company Avro.
I don't know why they went out of business. I couldn't tell you why. They were doing so well.
They could have gone commercial.
I know. And I don't know why they still didn't stick to the guns and say, well, we're going to sell them off to other.
Or did they sell to the French company that made the Concorde, maybe?
I have no idea. I wouldn't know that. I don't think anybody would privy that information because, that would put up a big stink if anybody found out any different. So actually, that company was half owned, I think, by England and France. If you're looking at the name of that plane, which I can't remember now, the Concorde. I don't know if that was a company name or not, but that was
Concorde was the plane. I don't remember. It was a French manufacturer.
That was a half and half type of partnership. So whatever happened with that, we'll never be privy to that.
Well, so there's a new company out that is they're changing laws. Like the ban on supersonic, they're changing laws called Boom Arrow. Well, Boom Arrow, because you can't go supersonic over continents.
Oh, you mean
and so Trump
Boom?
Boom Arrow. Trump signed an executive order saying, "Is right? We're going to remove this restriction. It makes sense by the design of their plane." Because they fly at an altitude where the sonic boom doesn't hit the ground.
Actually, I did hear something where they changed that where the boom actually goes up instead of downwards, and I
Yeah,
don't know how
it
they've done that.
curves around the
Yeah,
and and they're flying it at roughly 50 or 60,000
yeah, I don't know how
feet.
they accomplished that, but
And
especially
so the boom never reaches houses or
yeah,
buildings or
which
and
is
so
great.
it's
Yeah,
and the technology is called silent boom. There's still
oh,
a
that's why you,
boom. The boom doesn't hit
yeah,
us here on the ground. And so Trump's like, yeah, we'll lift that. We'll lift that restriction. Go ahead and build this thing. And I think they're going to have the first commercially available jetliner, supersonic jetliner, in 3 or 4 years. They already did one with a prototype. They
no,
hit like Mach 1.7, Mach 1.8, and they're like, I saw the CEO posted today. He goes, you could have breakfast in London, and with the speed of a boom arrow, you could also then have breakfast in New York,
the time
and then have
change.
breakfast in
Yeah,
San Francisco, because we will be able to travel faster than the spin or the rotation of Earth. So
yep,
you could perpetually be in morning all the way around the globe
yep. I
at
know.
that speed.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's a wonderful time to be alive. If we could just get rid of the criminal element to the whole thing, I'd feel so much better because we could just stick to our normal lives and jobs without having to be the police force of the police force of the police force, which is what's happening today because no one's overseeing everybody else that's supposed to be overseeing the actual forces at work. Yeah, because it's just not working. We got this, as you know, the RCMP, which are crooked on a dog's hind leg. Those crooked bastards, I'm telling you, they're so pro-communist and trying to drive us even so closer to it. Uh, I'm so disappointed. I mean, they'll even shoot each other up. If you stand up against them, they'll just shoot you dead. I seen it live from out east about 4 or 5 years ago. A big shootout going there, blaming some guy that had some car that he made a likeness imposter. They made some likeness of these cars and did it wasn't that at all. What a story. I mean, they're so guilty, and they make these stupid stories up. They don't even make sense because obviously they either don't lie very well or they think they'll never get questioned. I have no idea, but they're just dum dums. And these are
So,
those
so what if the
protecting
people
us.
took? What if the way the people took away their mount, the mounted? What if the people just took away all their horses and said, "We're not paying for it anymore. Come catch us on foot. Come catch us on foot."
With the Billy Club, that's what you get.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get.
I wouldn't even mind that. I want the whole thing changed. The RCMP is too far gone now. It's gone to be like the brown shirts of Germany. You remember what I'm talking about? They turned into the SS. Very brutal.
They
Whatever the
locked
government
up
says,
truck drivers for
they
driving a truck.
everything. You could make any, and that's what's going on now. As far as you make any excuse or lie, to imprison somebody. Which, by the way, I gotta laugh about Trump. Because everybody's going unhinged about these tariff things going on because actually we have a very stupid government. They don't know how our marketing boards work. No one's informed on anything, and yet they're saying, "Well, I'll just make the speech as the face for you guys. You just tell me what I got to say because you have it all worked out. I'm sure you guys have it all worked out there." No, they don't. They don't have a clue what's going on, and so Trump, is talking about tariffs because he knows about our marketing boards because Trump's well informed. He's got so many people working for him that keep on this all the time. So you just tell one name and what you want to do, and he has all these people gather information and has it in like 6 pages the next morning. He just flips through it. Yep, done. And he calls up Trudeau. But anyways, after that, he's talking to Carney and these tariffs. Trump could have said anything. He could have said that, well, we noticed there was a bolt nut kind of loose on the bridge. We're going to shut the whole thing down and stop trade immediately just because he could have said anything. It didn't matter what it was. He just picked tariffs because it sounded kind of, it'll fly, and so he stuck with that, got the whole country exposed for the sin bin that we actually are. Everybody says it's the United States that treats us. Canada's been treating and cheating everybody for decades, and no one, because we're not told that, because no one even knows what's going on, because we're so ill-informed up here. They think, it's all the Americans. No, it's the Canadians. Even when talking softwood lumber, We don't charge for stumping fees because we're on crown land. We don't have to pay for that. America does. America has to charge for the stumping fees, taking the stumps out and we don't, because it's just we just leave them as they are and just walk off to the next little patch of mountainside we're going to take trees from. We don't pay for that. We don't do that. So our price is so deflated, but yet inflated for our pricing. It's just ridiculous. It's the shortcuts and the thievery that we have as a nation against the states. But our libtard government won't admit that. They don't know what's going on. Even the conservatives, well, I'm sure they might, but they don't talk about it. But yeah, it's unfair. It's not balanced. Trump has every right, to talk about that because look at the milk that we produce. Dairy. He was talking about dairy. We dump millions of gallons of milk a week because we have to keep our prices up in Canada. Because if we don't, our prices will fall to like American prices, fair pricing, and we'll actually get a jug to put our milk in instead of a stupid plastic bag they sucked us into doing years ago because, it'll drive the price down. Well, that didn't work. All the stupid stuff these libtards say that never, and the people buy it up. They think it's gospel. It's true. It's going to stay like that forever. And of course it doesn't because, well, they're dum-dums. We believe our government. The first thing Canadians should be doing and thinking is do not trust the government as far as you can throw them, as the old saying goes. But for some reason, they want to turn their brains off and just do what they're doing, thinking that nothing's going to happen to them. We just have to trust them. Anyways,
Well,
yeah, that was my.
you and I've been talking. You're right. Eventually, I hope the majority of Canadians wake up and look to overthrow their government. That being said, an overthrow doesn't have to be from some sort of violence. It could be the majority just going to the polls and 90%, I know, 90%, like make it too big to rig, like Trump
Yeah,
2024. But
yeah,
it might be something else. It might be just an uprising of nobody shows up to vote and says we're done. We're done. We're just not. It could also be 1776. I think that.
it's got to have to be because you know what? The last election, they just don't count votes. If they're progressive
Mhm.
or conservative votes, they don't count. As a matter of fact, there's like 120 something thousand votes sitting out in bags that they never counted because that would have turned all the red seats to blue seats. And they can't have that, of course. So they kept those from being counted, and they should be accounted for. But nobody wants to bring that back up again, thinking, hey, all these seats would switch black to blue again. Before you guys called the election at like 6 o'clock in the evening when we just started counting votes, and all of a sudden, yeah, it's in the bag, because that's how crooked this whole thing is. I'm telling you, and no one up here believes it. I've been saying that. I'm screaming about this for 20 years now, and these dum dums don't realize how it's done. They just can't figure it. But anyways, that's Canadians for you. So yeah, you know what? The faster we become part of America, if that's possible, let's do it. Let's get Trump in the action here, and maybe have him make a few statements as far as how retarded this country's become. And I'd stand behind him, thinking, yeah, he's not wrong. So yeah, I wish he would.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and obviously that's going to be the easiest way. With the Alberta succession movement,
Well, yeah,
right? Just succeed. What are they going to do to you, other than lock you up and debank you? They've already do
there.
that to
Yeah,
you,
I know.
right? Just
Doing
it,
that
it
now.
apply it apply to become a territory, a U.S. territory.
Yep, that could happen like overnight almost. I mean, you don't have to become a state right away, just as long as protected under the umbrella of the states. I'd be happy with that, and just get rid of this communist regime we call, I don't even know what they call it besides.
Could you imagine? So Alberta, right, going from south to north. We just start putting in. We probably put in like 3 or 4 military airstrips and then build bases there. And then all of a sudden, Alberta's just like, hey, looking at province left, province right, and it's like, you want to fuck with us now? You want to
Well,
fuck with us now?
actually,
America's here. They're
uh-huh.
here.
Actually, those two provinces are sticking with the separation. So
It looks like
Saskatchewan,
they are, which is
yeah,
incredible.
and then Quebec got, so you got three of the western ones wanting to separate. Then Quebec wants to now join in and thinking, so all it's going to be left with Ontario and these idiot eastern provinces that we've been supporting. I mean, Ontario's been paying for these. I don't even know what you want to call them, but they're deadbeats if you ask me. But I won't say what I really think because they don't do anything. They don't produce anything. All they are is deadbeats. They're nothing. They don't do anything for our country whatsoever. Why be part of it? Get rid of them already. Go back to where you came from to begin with, and let's start fresh. And
Well,
maybe
isn't it
America
just
wants
like literally like Icelandic tourist area? Like it's all
to.
Airbnb
Yeah,
shit.
that's just cheap old knick-knack, bric-a-brac junk shit over there. That's all it is. Houses painted with any cheap free paint they can find. That's why they're all different colors. It's just pathetic. It's like you're going through the sons of any other. Well, might as well go to Ethiopia then. It's just pathetic, the whole thing. So yeah, I'm not
Well, I mean,
impressed.
Greenland didn't want them, so they became part of Canada.
Yeah, well, that's exactly.
Because they're about what 30 miles off the coast of Greenland.
You're not wrong. You're not far off either. But yeah, and so this is what we've got as a nation. Everybody's so proud of. I mean, like what I don't know where this bizarre pride comes from. Like, why? What are we so special? What makes us so special? Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. At one time, we were a great country, aspiring to do great things, but that didn't last long because the government shut the libtards, Trudeau, namely, the old man, shut us right down, sold us out, to communism. Wait, because he was a card-carrying communist leader of the Communist Party in the '60s. Funny how the news back then never mentioned that important point. Before everybody's going all off. Oh, he's so great! Oh my God, what a bunch of retards we got up here. But yeah, you know what? Being an American is not a bad. I would not be. As a matter of fact, I'd be impressed. I would not feel any less of a person or a Canadian. I'd be thrilled to be top Canadian under American Constitution. Top Canadian, though. That's how I feel about it. Bring it
Sure.
on. And
Well,
we
yeah,
get
sure.
a military. We
Yeah,
get
yeah, but by default, you would
well. I don't care how
by
it happens.
default,
You have
right?
a
Well, listen, and that's why I said so. Like, if this thing happens with Alberta,
uh-huh.
you have an air base at the southern border, somewhere in the central of it, and then all the way up north. Because we just want to tell Russia, hello.
And
Oh,
China.
oh,
Don't
oh,
forget them. Don't you forget China. They're the
that's
most
gonna be the
speaking.
northeastern coast. We
Right.
can look over the top of China. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. It's not even about Russia. It's about China, but we have to look over Russia.
Uh-huh. I just want to make that clear. What's happening with Chinese and we're not. I like Russians. I don't. There's not. I don't find them
I don't
offensive
have a problem with
whatsoever.
Russians.
And they're not doing anything wrong. It's the Chinese and the rest of them. We got to get out. And by the way,
Did you see there are protests happening? What freaking time is it? 8. It's probably about 6 o'clock in the morning in Kiev.
all right.
There's
No.
protests happening in Kiev right now. If you check X, there's videos of it, or you'll
Okay.
see them on
About
Rumble.
what though?
They're done with Zelensky. Zelensky banned
About time. How long?
Zelensky banned protesting over this or that. But you and I have been talking about this for a year. He banned the Russian Orthodox Church.
Yep.
He banned
Actions
he's
suspended.
banned political parties, and
Yep.
everyone can keep yelling at me and go, Putin's the problem. And I go,
Nah, come on.
no. The
Yeah.
United States was the problem with a soft coup in Ukraine. Zelensky is the problem. Trump wants it all to stop. But yes, Edward, they're starting to protest in the same way that Canada's going to have to overthrow, hopefully, Zelensky. He's got to
Um,
go.
you know what?
Carney has
I'm-
also got to go. But I'm glad
yeah.
to see it. If you get later tonight after we're done with this,
Uh-huh.
as you're doom scrolling, you're going to see videos of Ukrainians protesting
I'm
the
looking for it now.
dictator.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for that. Uh,
Oh,
and you're right. It's about time that they did that because the guy was, the beggar king. Was a good meme I seen on X. Was Zelensky and the Burger King symbol with the beggar king. I laugh because it's so true. The guy can't even wear a suit because he's trying to look like he's all disheveled and in a war and he's wearing army fatigues and everything. Oh,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on,
He's
please,
like he's
brother,
the one
please.
fighting.
Oh, I know.
He's
Yeah,
on
I
the
just
front
came out of the
line
trenches with you. Come on, come
with
on.
his Russian-made
Yeah.
Kalashnikov or AK-47.
Hey, by the
He
way, you forgot to mention the killings that Zelensky did as far as all the ministers or priests, I should say, over there too, in the churches and wiped them out. I mean, he was the one committing more murder just to have his own way and say above everybody else so they could be silenced and they wouldn't silence, so
Zelensky
he killed them.
put
Huh?
landmines in the
Yeah.
provinces of
And,
Luhansk
yeah,
and Donetsk. He
yeah.
put landmines in to
Couldn't
blow
believe
up
that.
Russian Ukrainians.
Yep, I know. Talk about
And
not.
everyone's like, no, Zelensky's the prince.
Yeah,
He's
I
the
know.
oh, God, no. You're not looking at this right if that's what you believe. Or maybe you've been misinformed.
Oh, you think?
Zelensky literally was bombing Ukrainians. And then Putin said, enough is enough. He lined up 100,000 of his troops on the border and said, stop killing Russian Orthodox people.
Hmm.
They want to live in your land, they want to practice their religion.
Yeah,
And Zelensky still was blowing them up.
I know.
And that's when
Um,
Putin said, enough's enough. I'm going in.
you know what? That little twerp, I wouldn't even allow if I was anything close to a government official. Wouldn't even allow him in the country. Would not. As a matter of fact, I would probably pound the piss out of the little just for his attitude alone. And granted, he's just nothing but an actor, anyways. He's really nothing. I mean, before he became, the president, he was just a twerp. That's all he is. Can't stand the guy. But there's many more like him I can't stand either. By the way, Hillary, another one. But yeah, that's just. So, anyways,
During her time in power, Hillary, is when Zelensky got installed.
wouldn't doubt that. And all the things that Hillary. Yeah, we don't have to go over that. I cannot believe what she did. No one's
Oh,
talking
did you
about.
see Chuck Grassley drop the Hillary files too? Of all the
What
things,
he did?
of all the things, right? So you got MLK came out, you got Obama files came out. Grassley got his files redacted, or sorry, released. He got the clearance taken off. That shows that Hillary totally had all the emails on the unsecured server, did all the things, and these just keep like. I get people are upset about Epstein, but look at all the shit the Trump administration is just dropping mega bombs
Good.
day after day after day. So
I never liked
so
her.
Obama, I don't know what happens. I don't. But obviously guilty by the evidence. And
Uh-huh.
then they drop the next day. They drop Hillary files, totally guilty of the same exact thing: Russian collusion,
Yeah.
creating the Russia hoax, and illegally using an email server
Now
so
you're
that she could
home.
support government oversight.
Besides that, hey, who has 65 friends that suicides themselves? Nobody has that many friends that just no, I'm telling you, nobody does. People are lucky to have 6 friends, let alone 65 friends that just suicided themselves for no reason. They just kind of felt depressed, and I just
Why do you
shoot
think
myself in the
Bill?
back of the head.
Why do you think Bill Clinton's never come forward?
That's a good question. You know what? I keep forgetting they're married. God, Bill, how could you, Bill?
I could, dude. I listen. If you look at world history of worst people to be married to,
Hmm.
Bill nailed it.
Yeah.
Bill nailed it. Like
He
he's
definitely
like the
gets this.
world record
He,
for worst wives on the planet.
oh my gosh, could you imagine?
Just
I've heard
imagine.
stories from the Secret Service at the White House telling stories about they go run and hide from her because they couldn't bear to
Yes,
be around her. She is such a just a miserable person, and I get
Buzz
that feeling
Patterson
of
wrote an entire book about his time
who?
carrying the Buzz Patterson, Air Force pilot.
Oh, yep.
He carried the nuclear football for Bill Clinton, and he wrote an entire book about what a miserable bee Hillary Clinton was, and that yes, your story. If she was in the building and someone knew she was walking down the White House hallway towards them, everyone went into the secret hallways, shut
Yeah,
the door, waited till she went by, came back out, and resumed working
yeah.
because she was such a miserable. She literally would tell people, "You're not allowed to look me in the eye."
I did hear that. I no, I did hear that same thing. And I'd rather just when that type of I don't even want to know what to word that kind of a evil, sinister person is. I don't want to tangle with it. I don't want to waste my life even having to defend it for the next 5 years in court if anything does come of it. But yeah, I just rather steer clear and just get out of the way because that's just nothing but a whole lot of trouble. Misery just brings in misery, so stay away. I've learned that. But yeah, that's just brutal. Yeah, I'm not, as you can tell, of all the Democrats we've listed out so far, I am not a libtard. Uh, but yeah, so many are because, and I can't see it. I don't understand it. They have no argument. They can't even reason out why they are liberal. But
Let's
here they are.
go back to what I opened with Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden has always from his birth lived such a life that he believes there's always illegals there to take care of your dishes or to take care of this or to take care of. So
Yeah.
there are the liberal elites, and there's a million of them. There's 10 million of them. The
No,
liberal elites, they're not affected by any of the policy they lay out
I know.
because they live in a totally different class. What irritates me is that the liberal voters that I would be in our income class or maybe even higher or maybe even lower that don't see that these liberal elites that are telling you Trump's the bad guy, Reagan's the bad, they all have slaves.
Yeah.
They all have indentured servants. They've never washed a dish in their life. They've never even picked it up off the table and took it to the sink.
Nope. Believe that. Absolutely. And you know what? I can't believe what Reagan went through either. They said the same thing back with Reaganomics, they called it in the Reagan days. And he even got shot twice. Uh, you know what? He was under the same, well, not exactly the same fire, but pretty close in some ways. So he went through it too because he was a staunch Republican as far as, yeah, not a Democratic thought in his mind. And good for him. I was always a Reagan fan and but more so Trump today. So I'm hoping that things swing his way even faster yet, and we get this thing called Canada uh, knocked out of the park. That's my hopes.
I hope so, and I know there's a lot of Americans when the subject comes up, they we're just inviting another California in if we do that,
Hey,
and
good.
I
No,
think
it's true. It's true though, because there's many now. I'm talking about of the immigrants that have to get out of here anyway. So we got taken over. The 5 million are supposed to go back, or 4.9 something million are supposed to go back this year, and the other 3 million illegals. So that's so we're back to around 36, 37 million as a population. If we get rid of all these illegals back to East, India, then yeah, we'll be fine by then. But yeah, you don't want to.
but
Some of these lip cards are so stupid.
no, you're right, but the conversation isn't necessarily about the immigrants. It's about the massive about socialists,
Yeah. Well,
elite socialists, and they're like, well, we don't. That's what they're saying. We don't need to add another socialist state
Correct.
to the Union.
And a lot of Americans would be correct because a lot of Canadians cannot stand on their own 2 feet. They got to have the government to support them in some way. And I've been saying that no, we should be having no government handouts, and our money should be looked at a lot closer. What we're taking in to what we're spending. No one wants to do that, of course, and that should be one of our first priorities as a nation: is how much we're taking in and where's it all going. We should be that should be transparent to everybody, even in America, my friend. Even in America, they should all know the same stuff. But nope, they're not showing for whatever reason. It's not a show and tell government. So, and this is one of the problems we have here. Everything's top secret, even when they're going on a flight somewhere. Nah, you know what? Open the whole thing up. And I'm so against the well. I want smaller government to begin with because, well, I'm a big C conservative. That's why.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I call myself conservative to the values we have today. I'm definitely MAGA, I'll tell you that. And we're not going anywhere. Remember what our friend Rush Limbaugh said?
You can't separate us from MAGA. Doesn't matter what you take away from us. You can't separate us from MAGA.
Exactly. Because you're not going anywhere. Trump may go, but you're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I wish he was still around because wow, he'd certainly make some good stories and common sense about what's going on now. Yeah, it's too bad. But yeah, well, that's my beef for the night. I mean, I went off in the weeds there for a bit. I was kind of a little angry over this constitutional crisis we're going through. And by the way, this one story I got to bring to light there. The trial from the 2 people that started the Freedom Convoy, or the organizers, the courts are seeking 8 and 7 years for them for this mischief charge, which is just a blanket statement for if you don't know what else to charge people with, just throw mischief at them. Let's get up to 20 years. You can't define the term because it's one of these secret charges that doesn't really have to have any real meaning to it. You can just apply it to wherever you want. So that's Canada for you, by the way. If you can't figure it, just make it mischief. You can't. It's an undefinable term. It can mean anything you want. And this is our law courts. It's so libtarded up. It's just crazy. But yeah, if that happens and they get charged with it, the country may see a turn faster than you think. Trump, hold on. We're coming.
Yeah, hold on. We're coming. Man, I love that song. Hey, let me close out with, I can't play the song, but I just want to say greetings, music lovers, thrill seekers, and conversationalists all across the Feuding Plains. We got to close this one out, and we do miss Rush.
Very good.
Have a good night, everybody.